Hey, this is Keith. What's up? It's Sunday, May 24th, and I'm collecting spring water from my spring. Just to show you how this spring got put here. I used to do this for a living. This is what happens when they make a fill on the side of a road. This road that my car's sitting on, it's a fill that's been put in here, and this side's been built up to make the road level. And so when they encounter springs, like they did here, the spring's right down there, they have to pipe it, because otherwise if you just put this fill material in here, the spring itself would eventually erode all this out, and they couldn't keep the road here. So what happened was down there, they tapped that in when they did this. It's called an embankment or a fill. And I know that because that's what I used to do for a living when we used to run into springs. Did that before I retired from my union. So anyways, I'm taking my glass jars down there. I take all my water from in glass jars that I drink, and if I'm getting a lot, like if I'm sprouting or whatever, I will fill up one of them plastic ones, but I eventually do plan on going with all glass and getting some of those big glass 5-gallon things. I found where you can get them. You can order them online. Anyways, here's the spring. Right now, I just collect them in these mason jars. It's really beautiful down here. This is not too far from my house. Walking distance even. You come down with a couple jars in the backpack and get fresh water. I wouldn't even have to drive down, but I use a lot of water in all my teas and stuff. Be a long run. Oh, I want to tell you about that fire water that I made, because I probably won't talk about it again. Well, I'll talk about it because I'm going to use it, but that stuff was not even hot enough for me. So I put it into a blender and blended it all up. And now it's hot enough. It's really hot. In fact, I got some on my hand, and it kind of burned it, or just felt hot for a long time afterwards. Anyways, I know this is good spring water because it tastes really good, and it's got the characteristics of a spring, which are that it runs the same temperature, which is, I forget what that is, but it runs the same temperature summer and winter, runs at a steady flow. And another feature about this is that a lot of the kids in the area I live in, a place called Running Springs, so it would be no surprise that there's a spring. It's just surprising that it's tapped, you know, and I know it's the real thing because I've muscle tested with it. I took 10 gallons of it and poured it into my saltwater aquarium that I have to replace some water. Nothing happened to the fish. Like I said, I did the muscle test thing where I drank it. There was something wrong with it. Plus, David Wolf was talking about synchronicity. He was telling the story of searching for like some kind of tree, I forget what it was, and there was one that had fallen down right in his path or something like that. And he was like after the sap in it or something, and he just started going after the sap, and everybody was kind of like, well, how do you know that that's the real thing? And he's like, I just know it is. It's a synchronicity, and sure enough it was. And so this just came up right when I needed it. So, or right when I was getting into this kind of stuff, because I saw Daniel Vitalis on YouTube talking about how great spring water is. It's amazing water that's straight from the earth, and this is the best water to have, because I am on the top of the mountains, which is the San Bernardino Mountains. We're on the very, very top. In fact, this point right where I'm at is probably really right there on the ridge, because my house is kind of on the downside of this point that goes higher up that way. So, and that's the best kind of spring water that there is. So, anyways, well, I've lived here for 20 years, and I'm totally blown away with like living in the forest and everything. It's a beautiful and amazing thing. It's also kind of a scary thing, because if you look around, we just had a fire that went through here, and you can see the bottoms of the trees. Only the bottoms of the trees are burnt because the wind blew the fire through here so quick that it just shot through and burned up the bottoms of the trees. The tops are still green. And anyway, so I've always lived here and I've always done this electronic music. I've been a construction worker, went down to the coast, did a lot of sophisticated excavation, doing expensive homes, terracing the hillsides to put them in. And so that's kind of why I know about this spring right here, why it was put in, because we used to do these kind of things. And anyways, so that's a very technological thing for somebody that lives in the forest. I mean, this whole place, look at all these beautiful ferns. Anyways, I'm going to tell you about this great piece of technology that I just got. I got it for myself for my birthday. It's called a Zapper. And what I was saying about living up here and doing electronic music, having this thing and being a raw fooder, I feel like a Techno Pagan or something like that. This is an amazing thing. It is a zapper, and it sends an electrical current through the body. You just like have both those copper things on your skin, and it gets rid of parasites electrically. It sends this low-level electrical pulse through your body, and let me tell you, I can tell stuff's happened. I could tell right away within a few hours that it was having an effect on my body. So this thing is available from Kroft. It's a guy's site. Is worldwithoutparasites.com, and you can get this Zapper. It's highly recommended by David Wolf. It's only $134, and I highly recommend it. If you're going to spend some money on like detox cleanses, like the detox cleanse from Health Force Nutritionals, I think, to get all 3 bottles, I think that's maybe about $80. Try this thing first, because you won't believe what this thing does. The first night I slept with it, I slept with my grounding sheets. I sleep on these sheets that were invented by this company called Barefoot Connections. And you sleep grounded. You basically take these sheets and they're like a heating blanket, and you plug them into the wall and you sleep grounded. Sleeping on that was amazing. Then when I slept the same night with this thing, I had the most vivid, crazy, just like electric dreams. It was so amazing. In fact, I've been having lots of real heavy, very colorful dreams because of the sleeping grounded and using this thing. But I'm very into some of these technologies. They have nothing to do with the discipline of raw food, but they make your life amazing. Anyways, this is Keith from my spring saying,